Hi there. Well, I will say happy Sunday, but I don't really know what day you're going to be watching this because I still don't have my PC sorted out yet. Right, my question today is, am I the only one who feels this sort of imposter syndrome? Yeah? That you're not really who you should be. I was watching a lady called, I've got it written down here, sorry, Cozy Rosie Crochet. And she's actually at a crochet fashion week in Atlanta at this moment in time. You know, with the likes of Gregory Stitch and I've got to read it, sorry. Sean Lane and a load of Barbados kind of people. You know, they all appear to be sort of somewhat of an ethnic minority. But they do crochet the kind of things that I would like to crochet. Maybe it's, you know, that I don't appeal to my kind of audience in the UK. I really don't know. But what I'm saying about the imposter syndrome is the feeling that you are not quite good enough. You know, that your things are not good enough. That your crochet designs are not good enough. You know, and I've suffered with this quite a lot of my crochet life, really. I don't know whether it comes from a background of my mum telling me, you know, don't blow your own trumpet. My ex-husband sort of, you know, dismissing everything I did as inconsequential. I don't know. And then I moved to an area that's very beige, you know. You're not likely to walk around down the street wearing what I would really, the inner me, really wants to wear. So I decided to address this sort of problem thing. Sorry if I keep looking at notes, but I've got everything written down. I have to make my mind up in my head that my designs are good enough. That what I make is good enough, yeah? That you always have this element of self-doubt when you're a crochet, dare I say, designer, because I do some designs of my own. You know, I'm always making things up in my head, no pattern. So I dare to say, I dare. You see, this is me again, self-effacing. I will not call myself a crochet designer because I believe to be one of those, you're supposed to write it down, write a book, write a pattern or whatever. But like lots of designers, you know, from Chanel and people like that, they don't make patterns for people to sew their own designs, do they? They make a catwalk and you are supposed to buy the item, yeah? So this is what I was aiming for when I started up Urban Gypsy Crochet. I mean, I'm not selling myself properly. I know I'm not. I don't have a web page because, quite frankly, I don't understand all that gubbidgy. I have tried Etsy, and as you know, Etsy are just, they make more profit out of something that I sell than I have made from actually crocheting it. And at the moment, everything's been hit because of this Royal Mail rubbish situation where you can't post anything abroad unless you join an online postal thing and you go to the post depot, which we have one that opens from 7 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the morning. Not very conducive to business, is it? Or you can get things picked up from your house. But that means you've got to be in at a specific time. And would they want to pick up just one parcel every now and again, you know? I've tried other methods. I've, Googled other methods of postage and they're all exorbitant, yeah. Anyway, back to feeling the imposter syndrome. I don't know whether you feel it when you're a crafter and you feel like, you know, you are not as good as other people in your field. I go on Etsy, I go online, I go on YouTube, and I see these usually young designers creating these new designs that are as old hat as can be. There is nothing new about them. They've been around since Adam was a lad, yeah? And I'm thinking, they're getting catwalk, they're getting buyers, probably from the younger generation who cannot remember them from in the 60s and the 70s. So they are designers in inverted commas as far as I'm concerned, because what they're doing is rehashing old designs that I made back in whenever. I used to crochet for a boutique when I was young, maybe in my 20s, 30s. Used to crochet cruise designs, it was a cruise line. I used to crochet bikinis in gold thread that used to be taken to a seamstress to be properly lined. And I used to crochet hot pants, as we call them, you now call them little shorts. I used to crochet those with the little bikini tops that are now boho tops. I made them all in the 60s. There is nothing new under the sun. And yet when I make the little boho tops, little bikini tops and everything, maybe my audience is not the same, but it does knock your confidence when you put them up for sale at a fraction of the price and nobody wants them. You know, and you think, where do I go wrong? I've got to stop this mentality. I have got to stop it. I've got to stop. It's more a self-confidence thing. I've got to go into it and say, I want so much for this design because I've designed it and it's worth it. And not think, oh, well, I'd better knock a bit off it because it seems a bit expensive and people won't want to pay that. I've got to stop that, yeah? People put I was trying to sell my little boho bikini tops for £10. £10. They're online at anything ridiculous from about £20 to £50. And I've got to stop thinking, oh, well, there's a better than mine. I've got to stop that thought, yeah. I've got to market myself more. I've got to, you know, try to get myself out there, project myself, market myself. I don't know what your feelings are. If you just crochet for your own personal whatever, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you ever, whatever skill you have, if you've ever tried to market what you make, because you make too much of them, it's your hobby and you're creating far more than you would ever need. So you come upon circumstances like myself where you're retired and a bit of extra income would come in very, very handy. So you think to yourself, no, I'm not crocheting blankets for the cat's home, you know. My talents are worth more than that. But yet, I'm so afraid of saying that out loud, and I don't know whether anybody else is like that. You're so afraid of saying, hey, my stuff is good. My stuff is brilliant. My stuff is equally as good as anybody else's out there in the marketplace. Instead of which you're like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll make a web page tomorrow. Maybe I'll make an online selling thing tomorrow, you know. I've got to stop that. I really have got to stop that. It's all right, I'm just looking who's just pulled up outside the door. Obviously nothing to do with me. Yeah. I mean, I have been designing like little tops. This isn't a design of mine. This is one that I crocheted from a book. Yeah. I've made, I don't know, 3 little designs for children that were mine out my head. So why can I not say, hey, you know, in case you're interested, it's out of this book, Granny Square Designs, because I know somebody is bound to ask me. Yeah, this is a little bit about my videos that is a little bit soul destroying. I show what I've made, I show what I'm doing and everything, and somebody says, can you tell me what the pattern is for the cardigan you're wearing? Quite not what I had in mind. Don't mind sharing the pattern if it's one that I can share. If it's one I've made in my head, no, I can't share it. I just wish people would sometimes say, I would love to buy your cardigan, I would love to buy your whatever, yeah? But no, they never do, and my son is now prowling around. I don't know. I just wondered what you thought. Are you a crafter? Do you feel you've got this imposter syndrome, that you're not good enough to be on a catwalk, that you're not good enough to display your things? My ideal situation would be, because I am limited with my mobility, because of my age and I don't drive, I cannot go to far-flung craft fairs and try and peddle my wares, yeah? What are your thoughts about that? I mean, people have said Depop, they've said all these other things, but they're not for what I am doing. They are for selling your old stuff out of your wardrobe, yeah? They don't want you to sell things if you are a maker. I've tried the marketplace, the Facebook marketplace. Again, people want something for nothing. They don't want to pay, yeah? You don't go on there if you're selling a designed crochet outfit. You go on there if you're selling something out of your cupboard, yeah? But it's just kind of, you know, I need to reach a wider audience. I need to reach the kind of audience who appreciates my boho, my hippie creations, my off-the-wall bright coloured things that I do design and make, yeah? Somebody suggested this morning that I take orders and things like that. That was soul destroying to me. No offence to anybody who is a larger lady, but I got the large ladies, and I mean the large ladies, the ones who should be on my £600 life, yeah, asking me, would I make them this, that and the other? Could I do it in thin because they wanted something fine and drapey? Could I make it in cotton? Could I make it in cashmere or whatever, wool? But yet they wanted acrylic prices, yeah. And then of course I had the added expense of they were mostly in the US. So I had to quote them quite a lot of money for the postage and stuff. And they're like, oh. But you're advertising such a thing for so much. And I'm like, how can you be delicate and say, well, you're like 3 times the size. You're asking me to make it bigger, longer, wider, in fine yarn, more expensive yarn, and yet you're expecting me to sell it you for the acrylic prices. Oh, sorry about that. My son is drilling. I'm going to have